Hey there everybody, Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter from CARTERMATT.com.
This video is our Survivor Winners at War Episode 3 preview, and we're going to discuss the promo that you guys saw tonight with us. We have strategy talk, we have possible big moves, we have Tony swinging around a giant fish that he found in the air. I mean, I guess it's not that giant. It's just Survivor fish that they usually catch are like the tiniest little things imaginable.
Sure, that was pretty big.
That was actually a legitimately good-sized fish, but good on Tony. I don't know if it's going to help his game at all, but you caught a fish. But anyway, we are going to talk through everything in this video. But before we do, if you like this discussion, be sure to give us a like, subscribe to CARTERMATT on YouTube, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other updates that we've got coming your way. Let's start with the SELE tribe, the blue tribe, where they have just lost Danny Boatwright in a decision that I think we both believe is still somewhat baffling, that you've got Parvati right in front of you and you don't get rid of her.
Yeah, so I'm kind of wondering or hoping that maybe going into this next episode, not hoping because I want Parv to be gone or anything like that, just... it is such a good move, and it makes sense to have to happen sooner rather than later.
And it sounds like Adam and Denise may be contemplating it. I mean, you see the two of them talking about, oh, let's make a big move. And granted, people say that stuff in previews all the time.
They do, but they have a little bit of power right now.
Yeah, they have their immunity idol, which they've split, and because Denise smartly did not give half of it to Parvati, she's now got someone who is going to be willing to play it with her.
Yes.
And I feel like the two of them have that sort of insulation, unless something happens, and that something may be Ben, who may let it slip that the two of them have some sort of immunity idol, or that Denise finds it, and then that could lead to other people being like, maybe we'll get rid of them and we'll just make sure they don't know about it. Boom, one of them gets blindsided and goes.
My hope is that, yes, Ben knows about it. Yes, Ben has been stepping in it over and over again. Maybe they can just really do a good job of bringing him in and keeping an eye on him so he doesn't go over and spill the beans to everybody accidentally or on purpose. Everything has been kind of weird with Ben. But if maybe they just bring him in, make sure, stick with him so he doesn't do anything, and just get to that next step after they get Parv out, then they'll be in an all right spot.
The thing that is hard for me is I want to come up with hypothetical situations where this game could be really exciting for this tribe, but just look at the numbers. You have Rob, you have Parvati, and you have Ethan, and that's 3.
Yeah.
And then you've got 5 that are sort of not within that group at this point. I mean, even if they got one person to go over and join them, it's a tie. Nobody's going to do a tiebreaker on Survivor Winners at War in episode 3.
It's true, but if like a Rob works a little bit with a Ben, who we have seen is willing to just go up to Rob and give him information, then Ben can tell him about that idol, that 2-piece idol. So if that's the case, then maybe Rob can work some of his magic and get some of the other people around to be like, hey, these guys have something going on, so we need to split that up.
I mean, crazy. There's, I guess, potential for some crazy stuff. Let me throw this at you because this is about as outlandish a theory as I can have. Let's say Ben goes crazy and his Boston Rob hero worship keeps him from wanting to get rid of Boston Rob.
Yeah.
So maybe Ben's over with them. Then maybe Jeremy, in a moment of temporary insanity, decides to play his peace out advantage that he got tonight. He leaves tribal council.
Yep.
Then you have those 4 people, the 3 plus Ben, and then 3 on the other side, and then all of a sudden Boston Rob can win. That is crazy. It is probably not going to happen.
You never know. It kind of depends a bit on, like, if they can... I know nobody knows that Jeremy has it, but if there's even a little bit of paranoia, he will use it.
Yeah, that's just the fun thing about that advantage is he actually has to leave tribal. So, yeah, he saves himself, but he can't be used as a number. He can't be used as a vote.
Yep.
I don't know how anything crazy is going to happen. The weirdest thing to me, to be honest, is it feels like a lot of times on these sort of recent seasons, we've had like a tribe swap or a 2 tribes going to 3 situation. are Survivor producers just loving what they're seeing with these two tribes right now and they don't want to mess with greatness?
I'm kind of enjoying what's going on right now.
I don't know. I don't know what they're doing, but it seems like they are just sort of going with the flow of things. Maybe this is always the plan. Maybe they think that people are expecting the tribe swap, so they're not giving it to them.
It's true. It might be just another bit of gameplay from the producers.
All right, let's go to the DAKAL tribe where we have Tyson seemingly is talking about going after Sandra. And, you know, if there's one thing we can all assume, what do you think it is about Sandra?
Oh, yeah, she's going to burn him to the ground. But, I mean, at the same time, if you're not going after Sandra, then what are you doing?
Yeah, don't mention her name. Don't mention her initials. Don't mention anything about Sandra that is going to make Sandra go, you know, full dragon on you and just destroy you.
Yeah, you need to be real quiet about this if you're going to go after Sandra. One, we know they don't know she has an idol.
Yeah.
So you need to be really sneaky about it. But yes, if she finds out that in any way you have wronged her, she is going to burn you to the ground.
Yeah, just ask fellow DAKAL tribe mate Tony what it's like to have Sandra going after you. It is very, very bad news.
Yes.
Well, if only Tyson knew what we know, because we know, I think, we got to think of a good name for the Yule Alliance. I mean, the Yule Collective? I don't know.
No, it's the Yule Gang.
Okay, it's the Yule Gang. Okay, so the Yule Gang, it is Yule, Sophie, Nick, Wendell. Not everyone else on DAKAL seems to be, like, fully aware of this, because if Tyson knew this, publicly calling out Sandra is a really bad idea, because Sandra all of a sudden is sort of the swing vote. There are 9 people, they would need her in order to have a majority. And he's not doing it.
And she's a little bit kind of part of this Yule Gang. She's kind of on the outs of it, but she's a little bit a part of it as well. I mean,
she's an honorary member.
She is. So I think Sandra's actually sitting in an all right spot. Because I think if Yule and everyone really needed her, they can use her. They can use her as a shield. She does get very angry and put herself out there. She will burn people to the ground. So they kind of have this warrior that'll go out and now you're gone, and now you're gone, and then they can deal with her because then they'll have the numbers.
Yeah, and I think that's the best way for the Yule Gang to handle it as well. Let's go ahead, get rid of Tyson. Let's go ahead and get rid of Kim. They're both enormous threats as well. Yeah, Sandra is a big threat, and she's always going to be a big threat.
She is.
But as long as you don't lose sight of her, I think you can get rid of her. I think the problem is, and you know, when Sandra won the second time, people still lost sight of her.
Yes.
And they were too concerned with Russell and everything else going on Heroes versus Villains. So I just feel like there will be a time for Sandra. But yeah, this is the thing though, is that on both tribes at this point, right? That seems like there's a pretty obvious numbers advantage where one group is in power. And that group is in power, I mean, on multiple different situations. Sandra's got an idol. Adam and Denise have an idol. The majority groups seem to actually be holding on to a lot of the power. The only sort of minority group with the power is Kim and her half an idol, and she gave the other half to Sophie, unfortunately.
Yeah, which kind of leaves them both in nowhere's land, unless there's some sort of situation that comes up at some point where maybe Sophie needs it and Kim is willing to have a little bit of goodwill here to try to build something. But I mean, Sophie's in a good spot, so I just don't know when that would really come up.
We may have to just hope for some sort of advantage to come creeping back in from Edge of Extinction. Not that I'm rooting for more advantages on this season.
There's enough advantages happening right now.
I just don't think it can't be as predictable as it may seem numbers-wise, because I keep seeing all these interviews with people hyping it up and talking about how crazy and amazing a season this is. And granted, they're supposed to promote the season, so...
Yeah, but it is still great.
Yeah, it is.
Even normally I'm a person who, like, if I saw the Yule Gang, I'd be like, oh man, they've got the advantage. I'm not into this, but I am into this. I love Yule. I love everybody that's kind of working together there. This is one of the first times that I've been really rooting for the people in power with the big alliance.
And it's a weird season because it's also still like I think we said in the reaction, there's been no like huge, like crazy immunity idol plays or anything else.
No.
And some of these votes at Tribal you would see coming. It's just the quality of the players and the entertainment value of the players is such where even if we have a predictable vote with Danny, we still have Boston Rob getting everyone to dump their bags. Like, we're still getting a moment.
Yeah, we are still getting a moment. And that was a moment. I will never understand what is going on there. He's got some kind of charisma to be like, dump your bags. And I was like, okay, dump my bag, anything you want. Like, how?
I don't know.
It's amazing to me.
Are you ready for this week in Tony?
Yes.
Because Tony's latest shenanigan is he's found a fish. I don't know what Tony was doing to collect the fish. I don't know if he was just like standing on the ocean being like, come here, fish.
And it just jumped into his arms. He's like, oh, look at what I have.
Did he build a giant net that he could go out there and catch the fish with?
He certainly didn't catch it with that ladder.
No, I don't think he caught with the ladder as on near-death experience.
That's
but
right.
It's a very different speed for me to see Tony trying to find other ways to channel his energy that's not actually playing the game. But it's funny.
Yeah, and besides a little bit in the first episode, he hasn't really been mentioned as somebody that people want to get rid of. So in a lot of ways, this is working. Yeah,
the proof positive of that is Tyson talking about wanting Sandra out. And, pregame, he wanted Tony out, and that was all he talked about. Maybe this is all subterfuge and Tony's going next and they're trying to trick us, but...
It's possible, but Tony hasn't really been doing anything for people to want to get out. He's not sitting on idols. He's not looking for idols. He's not causing problems. He's not really in any kind of alliance. Like, he's got the small one going on with Sarah. But outside of that, there's just, he's not really a threat. So he's in an okay spot right now, but because he's not really part of anything, he is going to end up, I think, being a number that just ends up going.
I think eventually, yeah. I want Tony to make it far because I love Tony, but it is a situation where he feels expendable, and the thing is, he needs to open his eyes. Tyson need to open their eyes. They need to both just go out and embrace each other, run along the beach, and realize they need each other. Because they do at this point.
Yeah, they do. If Tyson can kind of come together and work with Tony and start bringing in some of these numbers, then, they can really deal with the Yule Gang.
Well, we will see what happens as we gear up for Episode 3. But what do you guys want to see on Survivor Winners at War Episode 3? Give us thoughts, predictions. What do you think Tony's going to do with that fish? Share in the comments, other than, I guess, eat it. But if you do like this video...
Climb up the ladder and be like, look at this, you
just show off the fish, and then he's going to drop it, and it's all going to fall to bits. If you do like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us further by checking the link in the description to the CARTERMATT store, and we'll see you here next time.